the people running the United States in the first half of the 20th century happen to have been eugenicists.
Yes.
This has been documented with great detail by historian Edwin Black, who's the great historian of eugenics. And what he finds is that the biggest industrialists in the Anglo-American aristocracy, the Anglo-American power elite, they are real aristocrats in Great Britain and functionally aristocrats in the United States. These people were all ideologues of the eugenics movement. And the eugenics movement is the movement that produced German Nazism. And Edwin Black can show that giant amounts of money, diplomatic support, everything were flowing from the United States and Great Britain, from these great industrialists and the aristocrats in Great Britain, to the German eugenics movement that became German Nazism, right?
Yes.
And they were even assisting the German Nazis during the war after
Yes.
Pearl Harbor, right? So you have a eugenic ruling elite in the United States. They were never removed from power. They stayed in power. The Allies, the Western Allies in World War II, refused to bomb the death camps or even the railroads leading to the death camps. They protected the extermination process. So, given that those people were not removed from power, and given that they returned the Nazis to power in Germany, this is also relatively famous for some of us. It's the historian Christopher Simpson documented that after World War II, the CIA was created by absorbing tens of thousands of Nazi war criminals that formed part of Reinhard Gehlen's organization.
The Odessa Network. Yes.
No. The Odessa Network was
one of the sections that was responsible for the more international levels.
Exactly.
By the way, this channel should invest some resources in making a show on the amount of Nazis that were sent as delegates to Iran in the 50s to prop up their industry, and how these industries became the Iranian military industry of today. You would find quite a lot of names there.
Very interesting. And who sent those Nazis to Iran?
The same people who were running Western Germany at the time.
Okay.
The Allies.
Exactly. A few months before the October 7th attack, they had released something like $6 billion for Iran. And after the October 7th attack, they started sending money to Hamas. So it seems to me the general picture, if we see the same eugenicists who produced German Nazism in the post-war supporting jihadism, and remembering that there was a very strong alliance between the German Nazis and the jihadis during World War II, why shouldn't the interpretation be that U.S. bosses are trying to kill the Jews again?
It is both correct and immaterial, because let's go back to the other point I asked if you want to mention, the Kalergi plan. It is unfathomable for people who have not researched the issue, but the main supporters of communism are the billionaires. And when you're a billionaire and you own assets, the state owns the assets, and you ensure through your power within the party that you keep control of them through the political establishment. That is the essence of fascism. Fascism is just corporatism, where the supposed strong leader is just the head of a council that is composed of the biggest corporations in the country. There was this Kalergi, I don't remember, he has a long name. He said that the way to force Europe into peace through total peace, and total peace can be only enforced by the world government, is to remove the national identity of everyone in Europe. And the way to do that he proposed, is to flood Europe with hundreds of millions of immigrants from Africa, Asia, and from anywhere else, so that after several generations, people will not have a national identity. And these jihadist forces are simply a militant wing of the broader movement that we saw very well Germany, the Scandinavians, and especially France, now Britain too, massively supporting, at the expense of their own taxpayers, bring as many immigrants from Asia and Africa into their countries.
The Western bosses are trying to destroy the democratic experiment of the West, the modern democratic experiment.
Yes.
And so they are giving Westerners a choice between two different kinds of fascism. So we go back to traditional Western fascism, or we go forward into jihadi fascism.
Exactly.
But either way, what they want is fascism. They
Yes.
want democracy destroyed and totalitarianism imposed.
Exactly.